Greetings. Hi, it's been a minute. So much has happened in my personal life. So I'm going to do a prayer that I do. So great thanks for this moment, for being here, for having breath, life, voice, sound, sight, my body, the air and the trees and animals, my family and friends, those who love me, those I love, known and unknown. I'm very grateful. May the light of the great mother find its way into everybody's hearts, breaking any darkness that may be there within my own and in the world. Be with me every moment. I know you are always with me, and thank you. Assist my guides and my higher self and myself to do what is best for me and those around me. And fill me with your light and love. So shall it be. May you, your families, your aspirations, may you be supported, may you be uplifted. Okay. So I'm going through a breakup, and it's shaking me. The relationship shook me. And it's moving me also to understand like the whole great effect of the spell on the planet, where it came from, and what to do about it. So today is, if we go off of the 9-day calendar, today is, I think, Neptune. Let's see. Jupiter. Today's Jupiter day. So we can, and Mercury is fully out of retrograde, right? So whatever messages we were sending and imploring and vibrating to Mercury during Mercury retrograde and asking it to speak to the other planets and share the messages, now those will start moving forward. I stepped into it, but stepped out of it in my last videos, and what I wanted to say about the great sibyls and those who are awakening, that are in touch with the planet, that communicate with galactic beings, those who practice a multitude of different spiritual energies, psychic, Reiki, being able to tap into people's bodies, herbs, body movement, all those different things, awakening. And they're not just awakening to their gifts and talents, and powers, so to speak. They're awakening to this intuition that is somewhat like beyond what we're taught, beyond what we know. And so it is a challenge, so to speak, because with the spell so programmed so well, and beginning with literally destroying the feminine matriarchy, I guess you could say, the feminine influence, the feminine influence on education, music, dancing, healing, that became demonized. That became snakes. That became demons, Because demons and such came later. Because in all of the stories, each person comes in with a daemon, either two daemons or two angels or two beings, two spiritual beings that come in with the being, with the person. And so, did we as humans change things? Because I don't know. I work with that one a little bit. Because I'm starting to wonder, about everything we've been taught. Especially because of what it can do, what it has done to my mind, being in this relationship, what it has done. I think there's a lot of self-inflicted fears that surface and that I can create, wanting to figure things out. And this is where I talked about the compensation before. So if there are natural sibyls and these groups, this, not good or malevolent group that is willing to watch, multitudes of humans suffer and in ignorance, basically, because they know stuff we don't know. They are taught things we're not taught. And the sibyls are those who have the ancient knowledge, talking about like the numbers 9, the possibility that, we looked at the planets differently. And what's really interesting is if you continue, let's see, the 28th day of the 9-day week calendar will be on Tuesday. Yet, if I exclude the 2 days, so Wednesday and Tuesday would be days out of time, so to speak, because we wouldn't be into the new moon yet. The new moon, first day of the new moon is the 12th. And so if I continued and made February a 30, or the last month, if I would have taken last month's 9-day week calendar and then continued it as if it was the Gregorian calendar, the Gregorian calendar real first day would fall on the 13th, which is the recognized day of the new moon. And I thought that was interesting. And my guess is if I were to continue that, I would find that where we, the moon followers, would do those days out of time, the Gregorian calendar fills in that time, and actually they, the elite, those who understand the magic of the planets and time and emotional and mental influence would be doing the same thing. They're basically doing the same thing. This is what they're doing, I think. I'm pretty convinced. It makes sense. Because originally everything was 9 and originally everything was feminine. And that includes all the planets. And so, yeah, I think this time in the last several thousand years have been to curve. Did this video start over? Okay. To curve the sibyls and those who do actually have the ancient knowledge within their DNA to feel crazy, or to be made crazy, or to be too scared to tell the truth. And so we do it anyways. They do it anyways, and hope it changes. That's some of my theories of what's happening with the indigenous and with people all over the world, but specifically the feminine. And here we are. We're really entering into the age of Aquarius, which is considered the feminine uprising, so to speak. And it doesn't mean like women will be fighting. I think there will be women fighting. But really what it will be about is us saying no, learning the truth, seeing this big manipulation, and doing our best to shift it. One of the theories I have is to create like a natural witches, maybe like a Zoom channel or something, where those that haven't had any real specific training but see and feel things and get downloads and have been kind of their own lone wolves, so to speak, or their own black sheep, come together. Because the other thing that happens during, I heard people say it, and it's true. One of the people I follow on YouTube mentions that now several, but when I first started going through what they call the ascension process, which is what I think I just went through, I don't know, I hope so, it is awful. It's awful. It's heartbreaking. Yet, yeah, it's eye-opening, so to speak. And I'm gonna say, I'm gonna try to remember to say this in every video: if they can do it, we can do it. If they can do it, we can do it. If they can manipulate the weather, we can manipulate the weather. It's written, right? If they can manipulate our emotions, we can manipulate our emotions. We can manipulate our minds. We can manipulate our lives. We can change the whole structure without violence, because violence is actually what is feeding that other sense of chaos, right? Because chaos is creation. And so, and for me, when I started looking into the laws of the universe, the law of relativity is where you put yourself through a test to see if you can make it through your own test. Is that what I just did? I don't know if I made it. So, I have referred to Zach Hubbard on some of my videos, and I recently got his book. And what I want to share is all of those things are absolutely part of what's happening. Gematria is happening. Number, words, emotion, magic, rituals, energy is constantly being, directed towards the masses. The numbers, the language, it all goes back to the feminine divine. Most of these numbers, once you break them all down, come to 9. Or 11. And 11 is a gateway. 11 is a gateway of influence. And it also breaks down to 2, which is Mercury, which is the messenger. And from what I understand, Mercury can also be a tricky one. I mean, it's Mercury, right? And so these are the energies that my theory is are being used constantly with the feminine numbers and the feminine energy in the background, because that's where it all came from. That's where it all came from. my big lesson was boundaries. And if you think about the world and everything that's going on, wouldn't it be all manipulations of boundaries? And we manipulate ourselves out of it. I totally turned into like somebody else. I think my real self, actually. But yeah, know thyself, right? I'm still learning, still figuring it out. But I equate this to the energies that's going on. Is the shadow work. And the shadow work is, I think the most simple way to describe shadow work is what is difficult to do. What's difficult? What is difficult for me to do? What's difficult for you to do? If it's easy for you to say yes and to help people out and to always want to be a caregiver, and it's harder for you to say no, and if you do, you feel guilty, and you want to give people chances over and over and over, and it's difficult. That's the shadow work, right? That would be the shadow work. If you're a really good manipulator, it would be difficult to not manipulate. That's what I learned about codependence, or somebody who thinks they're good all the time. They're doing good, or being good, or doing the right thing, so to speak, or has this illusion. I had an illusion I was doing that. The shadow work was seeing that I was doing that, and then still to this day working on shifting that, And I think that this is where we would start when we were younger. The old medicine was we would practice working on our emotions. I think that that's correct, and I think that unless we understand that emotional body and mental mind are very entwined, learning that everything is mental doesn't mean that we've mastered that part of it. But I think we can. But yeah, I've basically learned that there are things that I allow myself to go through, thinking that I'll be supported over there if I do that. And I learned that I have to support myself. And yes, I need help and support. And I need to be discerning about what that help is and what that support is, and vice versa. Okay. A little bit of a heavy share. Okay. Thanks for listening and watching. May you be in the light of your divine one, and supported and uplifted. Until next time.